Meet the Carolina gopher frog. It may not be Prince Charming, but it's endangered. Frogs all over the world are in trouble. Almost half of all amphibians, which include frogs, salamanders, and caecilians, are in decline. And that's just the ones we know about.
They're sensitive animals. Their skin is very permeable, so they're in contact with everything, and any kind of contaminant in the environment, it's absorbed right through their skin.
Jeff Bean is North Carolina's resident expert on all things amphibian.
I've always been interested in anything that's alive, and frogs are alive.
The Carolina gopher frog is still alive, but it's struggling.
In North Carolina, the problems frogs are having is habitat loss. And the frogs that are struggling here are the habitat specialists, like the gopher frog.
Habitat specialists aren't like rats or cockroaches that can live anywhere. They rely on specific ecosystems. That's why the fate of the Carolina gopher frog is tied to the fate of longleaf pine forests, their only habitat in North Carolina.
Throughout the entire eastern United States, most of longleaf pine habitats disappeared. It's been milled, developed for homes. It's a habitat that's used a lot for agriculture. So historically, there were more than 30 populations of Carolina gopher frogs, and now we're down to only about 6 or 7.
The remaining gopher frogs survive in small enclaves of longleaf pine forest in the sandhills and the southeastern parts of the state.
We want to see this species recover in the wild.
The team gives gopher frogs a boost during the most vulnerable time, the egg, tadpole, and froglet stage.
There's a lot of predators, and they're all looking for prey, like little tiny frogs that are easy for them to eat. Right there, Chris. We collect a portion of each egg mass, bring it back to the zoo. We raise the tadpoles until they turn into small frogs, and then we go back out with the Resource Commission and we release them.
Though sometimes they're not always ready to be released. But they get there.
So we're going to give them a major chance at survival just by doing what we're doing.
It's 48.0.
Data collection is a big part of this work. Before releasing the froglets, the team injects a tiny piece of colored plastic in their hind legs. The color corresponds to the year they were released.
So that information is really important for us because it lets us know the success of the program. For example, it's been a dry spring and summer. And so in a year or two, if we find these guys, we'll know whether or not they were able to survive that.
The team also outfits some of the frogs with radio tracking belts. Mike Martin from the Wildlife Resources Commission goes out every evening during the release season to check on those frogs.
When he's following them around, he's realizing that they're constantly being predated upon by fire ants. So we've learned that in order for this program to be successful, we need to manage fire ants. Sometimes we joke and we call them LBFs, little brown frogs. Everyone wants to save a bright, beautiful, colorful animal. But it doesn't matter to us what they look like. The goal is we should be saving diversity, especially when we have species that are unique. I'm not going to say that reptiles and amphibians are more important than mammals or birds, although I would like to say that. The truth of the matter is, scientifically, every species is important, and we should be looking at all of them equally.
But in order for gopher frogs to recover, the longleaf pine ecosystem has to be maintained.
Frogs depend on habitat. They have to have places to live and places to breed, and not everything can live in concrete buildings and sidewalks. Very few things can.